everyone, Gaming Dads here. Going to do a video on Big Bertha. I'm going to eventually review all the cannons, and this is the first of which I'll be doing. Counterintuitive, I think. Big Bertha, if you're not familiar with Big Bertha, she's slow, but she's got big mobs that come out of her. And that has some interesting combinations. Now, if you'd asked me about Big Bertha, say 2 months ago, I would have told you, what? Don't use that. But I've been hearing some interesting things about Big Bertha, so I started experimenting with her, and she's got some good uses. So let's take a look here. As you can see, the mob rate, 3.58 when you're maxed, not that fast. But what you get out of her are mobs that are roughly 3 times the size of a normal mob, at least what I've read on Discord. So that means 3 times the size, 3 times the damage. And that has some interesting possibilities. So we're going to kind of build up to that. First, we're just going to use her in a routine round. So let me just go ahead and find something real quick. Hang on a second here. Okay, I had to pull up a routine round there. So I've got Big Bertha and Alien, Sirion, and Overdrive right now. And actually, you know what? I don't think I want that. I think I either want Summon Gate or Rainbow Rage. So you know what? We're going to switch that up. Hang on a second here. Okay. Sorry about that. So I swapped out Overdrive for Rainbow Rage. The reason being is because I don't need a whole bunch of Sirion. That's not really, I think, what Overdrive is for. So to recap, we've got Big Bertha. That's what we're reviewing. We've got Alien, because I wanted a fast mob. So I think that pairs well with Big Bertha for what you're trying to do. Because it's slow, so you kind of need to counteract that a little bit. So you could use Bat or Ninja or Alien like me. You could even try going up a notch to Chicken. But I think that's what you'd want to do mob-wise. And then, of course, your champion. We're using Sirion because we want to stack the buff that Sirion gives us with what you get out of Big Bertha. And that's part of what kind of caught my attention was, oh, yeah, that's right, you can do that. But you need to do it under controlled circumstances. And then, of course, Rainbow Rage, because you can further stack the buff with Rainbow Rage on top of that. I like Rainbow Rage over Summon Gate just a little bit more because of the extra stack for the buff, but also because, depending on where you use it, Rainbow Rage gets you more utility out of it. And that means whatever's on the screen is going to get the Rainbow Rage, where with Summon Gate, you have to be in front of it to use it, so it does have a bit of a limitation. But if you got good solid gameplay skills, Summon Gate can definitely help out because you get more of those large mobs. So it's kind of situational. Whether you're using it for, what kind of map do you have, your playstyle, and so forth. I like both Summon Gate and Rainbow Rage for using with Big Bertha, but I'm going to use Rainbow Rage because I've had more results with it, better results. So what we got here is a routine round. I'm not going to lie, using Big Bertha in a routine round, for me, not very fun, not very easy. It doesn't come naturally for my playstyle. Honestly, it's a little bit frustrating, and that's why I held off on using Big Bertha for so long. So let's go ahead and illustrate this. I am going to use... It's either going to be fire rate times 2 or fast charge so I can get more Sirion. I think with this multiplier situation, I'm going to go fire rate times 2 and just that, just to illustrate what's happening here. So let's get to it. All right, so let's go ahead and battle. Here we go. So that multiplier makes a difference. Take it off of that. You can kind of see it taper off a little bit. Of course, I got the fire rate increase, so that definitely helps. Without the fire rate, any sort of buff in a routine match, you're not going to get much out of Big Bertha, in my opinion. So you got to have some sort of buff, some sort of loadout that complements her to get you a benefit from those larger mobs. So we got the big mobs, the Rainbow Rage, the Sirion buff, just kind of melts through things. And that was kind of a sweet map. Not all of them are going to be like that. There are some newer maps out there with rotating gates, gates that you can slide around, Red Death gates. Big Bertha, in my opinion, doesn't do very well there. Oh, I'm on times 2. Okay, that'll work. So, I mean, that's decent because of the times 2, but I wouldn't expect to be routine looting with Big Bertha. But you can kind of see from that demo what the possibilities are. So now, for me, my opinion is that Big Bertha is a good looting weapon. I just don't think that she's equipped to handle large swarms of mobs. I happen to have a good map there, but if you get a mob map where, say, there's one that has 3 towers down the middle, and a bunch of blue blocks that you can bust. You've probably seen it at some point. That's a typical map that will swarm you and you'll get overwhelmed. If you have Big Bertha, just say goodbye. It's done. Lights out. So, Big Bertha's good use cases, I would say Piñata rounds, and then also Kraken. The the loadout that I have here with Big Bertha, Alien, Sirion, and Rainbow Rage does really well on Kraken. I would recommend trying that for Kraken. If you haven't had any luck with any other loadouts, it's going to get you good results. I haven't done a video with that loadout yet, but I have done in the realm of 1.3 to 1.7 billion damage with that. So it's legit. So just want to mention that here for the purposes of the sharing of the information. But we're going to go ahead and do Piñata round. So this loadout will work for Piñata round, and I've got stars, so let's go ahead and get into it. Hopefully I got a good map. Hopefully I get some good double drops on the champion rate. Hey, this is a good map. All right. So a couple decisions that you have to make here. I think 10x is really good, but there's a lot of gates here, and the ideal placement for the 10x is going to be that rotating ×4 at the bottom. So really you want it there. If you don't get it the first try, you can home out and you can try again, but you know, the clock is ticking. So how much are you going to retry before you run out of your ×2? So that's something to be concerned about. I've received comments and seen feedback about, well, if you don't have the time to do that, then you could probably do the extra cannon and the fast charge both together to kind of compensate. I don't know if you max on the star Piñata around that way, but you could still get a pretty good score. I would estimate that you'd probably get maybe 30k stars. It's going to depend on gameplay and so forth. But for me, I think I want the 10x, so that's what I'm going to try to do is get it in the right place. And I'm definitely going to do the fast charge because I want Sirion on there sooner. And since I've got some skip-its, I might try to do the extra cannon too and try to get a high score. So that's what we're going to do, and I want to demonstrate how this works. So I'm going to pause and I'll be right back. All right, I am back. I got 10x in the right place. I went ahead and sprung for the fast charge with 1 skip-it, and extra cannon with the 3 skip-its. Kind of rich for my blood, but I should get a good amount of stars with this. Now, why not the ×5? 2 reasons. 1, kind of stingy. I don't have unlimited skip-its. And then 2, I read somewhere that can actually slow down your fast charge. I don't know if it's true. I haven't validated that. But for 5 skip-its, I didn't want to find out the hard way. I'm saving that test for another day. But anyways, that's the reason for my method why I'm doing what I do. So I'm expecting to get somewhere in the realm of 40 to 50k stars with this. We're going to go ahead and fire away. Wish me luck. Here we go. And hopefully we get some double drops on our Sirion. That would be helpful. But as long as I get one up there fast, that's going to help with the buff. Oops, that'd probably help if I kept it in front of the ×10. Hopefully that didn't cost me too much. Guys, it's hard to talk and play this at the same time, so when I make obvious mistakes, I won't realize it until after the video. So probably crawling out of your skin. This is looking pretty decent. It's hard to see how we did. Let's see what this happened. All right, yeah, it's about 40k like I was thinking. And there you go. 40, almost 44k. So not my personal best, but definitely not too shabby. And for me, Big Bertha, this is why you use Big Bertha. I think the looting capabilities are awesome. Max on stars is 75k, so I definitely would need probably to use the other 5 skip-its to get the full boost to all 4. There's a component of map specificity that helps there too. So that map had ramps. It's pretty good. There's a couple other ones that are even better. I think that the Mario pipe board, where you got that curvy green pipe that gets Sirion right in front of the Piñata, and then the one with the 3 lanes that has speed ramps, those are probably your best ones to max on stars. And of course, it's going to be good for everything else, like coins, like bricks. Very handy for a piggy race when you're trying to max on bricks and get your 2 million bricks. That's the loadout you want to use right there. If you need coins, it's a 14 million max, I think, nowadays. Pretty straightforward to max on coins if you need that extra money. So, guys, that's it. That's my review of Big Bertha. You know, it's kind of a surprise. She's slow, but she's strong, and if you use her in the right way, in the right situations, you can get a lot out of her. So, 2 thumbs up. If you'd asked me 2 months ago, like I said at the start, I would have said probably 1 thumb down, just because I'd been demolished so many times by so many mobs trying to do a loadout challenge with her. But, yeah, she's good. Just got to know how to use it. So there might be other ways to use it that I didn't say during a video. Love to hear your comments if you're using some other ways. Like, for example, maybe you feel Summon Gate's better than Rainbow Rage in pairing. Yeah. So let me know what you think. In the meantime, though, it's been another victory for Gaming Dads. Gaming Dads out.